Hey, hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. You guys are going to have to go with me on a little tour here. I mean, not with me because you can't see anything, but I hope you guys have had a great day. If you're over on Facebook, make sure that you make your way over. The link's already on the page. If I lose you guys because I'm walking out to my car, just give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back because I don't know how far this headset reaches. So we're going to find out today. If y'all lost, but we're going to see. All right, maybe you didn't lose me. I don't know. All right. I had to go get a charger. My bad, y'all. My bad, my bad. Did you guys lose me at all? Or could you hear me the whole time? Hey again. Did y'all lose me at all or you heard me? You guys know, thank you so much for joining me for True Crime Tuesday with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. Thank you guys so much. If you're new here, we always start our true crimes out with a little game called Time Waster Mugshot Game. If you want to find this, all you have to do is go to the Smoking Gun website. Okay, hold on. The Smoking Gun website, Time Waster tab, and you'll find it yourself. So let's go here. All right. Oh, as we can see, so usually all the people that are accused of a crime, they usually have something in common. As you can see here, Pepsi seems to be the common thread. And as I take a swig of my Pepsi, you guys let me know. So this is how we do it. The people accused of the crimes are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here are the crimes that they could have committed: hazardous driving, failure to appear in court, unlawful use of a weapon, non consensual dissemination of private images, driving while intoxicated. So, who do you think is responsible for what crimes? All you got to do is just throw it out there. Let me know. I pick at random. Just remember, FBI, just remember what you picked because, again, I just pick at random whatever I see first. I just pick it and then we see what we got. We usually don't do very well on these, but we don't care because it's just, 4 is driving while intoxicated. See how easy that is? 4, driving while intoxicated. There we go. What else? What else? You're not playing. Oh, don't be a bad sport. I love me some Pepsi. It's over quick. Yeah, I usually have cherry Coke, but I have Pepsi today. The white man without the wig. Oh, River, it was something I talked about in the members live. You think the images is number 4. Okay, remember, Carrie, just in case. 4 the picks, five's the drunk. Well, we got 4 as the drunk already. You think five's the DUI? Throw some out here, guys. Throw 3 is failure. All right, let's do 3 is failure to appear. Throw them out, throw them out. Oh, you think 3 is hazard. 1 is hazard. There we go. 1 is hazard driving. We got unlawful use of a weapon and sending out, uh, private images. Uh, 3 is failure. I got 3 is failure to appear. I got that one. So all we have left is unlawful use of a weapon and private images. We've only got those 2. So who do we think was unlawful use of a weapon and who sent out some private messages? We got 2 or 5, 2 or 5, 2 or 5, 2 or 5, 2 or 5. 2 is a weapon. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. 1 out of 5. All right, we got number 1 right. Number 1, hazardous driving. Number 2, drinking while intoxicated. Number 3 was unlawful use of a weapon. I mean, she does look kind of mad. Oh, there you go. Y'all were right. I know a few of you said number 4 was the images and number 5, failure to appear. So there you have it. I do remember people saying that the guy number 4 was the images. So there you go. See how it works? Now we're going to do the next one. Let's see if oh, we did that one already. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go down to one we haven't done. I don't think we did this one. Did we? I don't think we did this one. Well, I don't know. Let me see. I don't think we did, but let's go. Let's do this. Let me do this. Let's go to page 6. All right, here we go. Let me pick one. Is there any with the weapons? I like to match the weapons. That's my favorite game. Oh, here we go. Oh, we already did that one. See, I always pick the weapons. Let's go to 8. I like to match the weapons or the tattoos. I feel like the tattoos are the easy ones. These are all crimes. Let's do this one. Oh my goodness, look, he said, I love Lutz. I love Lutz. So what's the common denominator here? I was going to say hair, but it's only 3 people. All right, so we got number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 1, no motorcycle license. Strangulation, corno involving juveniles. Oh, you sick effer. Computer aided solicitation of a minor. So we got 2 PDF files in the group, guys. 2 PDF files in the group. And then the last one is Mary Jane possession. So who are the PDFs? What do y'all think? Who didn't have a motorcycle? What's with the hair? I don't know. Um, motorcycle light. Yeah, maybe he's an island boy. The hair looks like the Simpson guy. She's got daisies in her hair. Got daisies. All right, who do we think's the PDFs? Who do we think had Mary Jane possession? I feel like 1 is Mary Jane. You think 3 is Corno? Okay, 3 is the Corno, so that's one of the PDFs. 1 is Mary Jane. That's what I thought too. 1 is Mary Jane. 4 is solicitation. Okay, and then we got strangulation and no motorcycle license. Do we think 5 is strangulation? Oh, a lot of people said 4 is. Yeah, Becky, that's what I think. Hey, Cheryl. Everybody says 1 is the Mary Jane and 4 is the PDF. I agree. 2 and 4 are PDFs. Okay. Who got strangulation and motorcycle? Who got strangulation? Only people we have left are 2 and 5. 2 and 5. 2 and 5, guys. The I love, right, Sharon? All right, we got no motorcycle license and strangulation. What do we got? I think 2, it may be oh, you think 5 strangulation. I was going to say, I think maybe 2 might be strangulation, but let's do it like that. 5 strangulation, 2 no motorcycle. I don't see her riding a motorcycle. I feel like 5 probably the motorcycle. But let's see. 1 out of 5. Oh, she did get the strangulation. That's the only one we got right. All right, number 1. Oh, man, they're riding that with their hair like that, and they're on a motorcycle. I mean, I guess it wouldn't blow away. All right, number 1, no motorcycle license. Number 2, PDF file. Y'all got it right. Number 3, Mary Jane. Number 4, he was a PDF file, but we got it wrong. He wasn't the one who did it on the computer. He actually had the corno involving juveniles in his possession, I guess. So and you guys got it right. A lot of y'all said 2 and 4 were the PDF files, and you were correct. 2 and 4 were the PDF files, and then 5 was the strangulation. So there you have it. 2 little quick games. I do this because 1, I like to play the game, but 2, this stuff can get a little heavy, right? And so I always say trigger warning during true crime. There's a ton of things that we discuss that are trigger warnings, but I always like to give just a blanket statement. Trigger warning, viewer discretion is advised. We are talking about true crime cases. So that's why I always like to start off with a game like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But if you're on Facebook, that's the end of the road for you. We're going to get right into this stuff because we got a lot to discuss. So, Facebook, there's a link on the page. You just have to go out of the live, scroll up, click the link, come on over, enter the chat at your own risk. We are on subs only. Um, but enter at your own risk. If you like to tussle, tussle. If you don't, you want your peace, and you see someone or something you don't like, all you have to do is block them. I don't babysit. We're all adults. Um, you got this. If you're in the live chat, all you have to do is hit that X on the right hand side, go out and hit the thumbs up. Greatly appreciate it. If you're in here at all, even if you're in the bushes or you're a silent watcher, which I appreciate you just as much, if you could hit that thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help my channel to grow and get out there to other people. So thank you guys so much. But let's get right into it. This is a case that we've been talking about that has hit the headlines. We've talked about it several times, but it is the D4 David case. So let's take a listen at this right here.
Lights surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. 3 weeks after the body of the 15-year-old was discovered in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to singer David, her death certificate has been released, stating that the teen was not pregnant, nor had she been pregnant in the last year, per the document obtained by TMZ. The report also said an autopsy was performed on Celeste's body prior to it being released to her family on September 23rd, and that the medical examiner is awaiting toxicology results. The certificate listed the manner of death as deferred.
The hell was that? Why did it do that? Y'all see that? It says it's just like it like cut out or something. Okay, so while I reload this, a lot of people were kind of upset, I feel like, because when I covered this D4 David story, and I was talking about, I think it was last Tuesday, when I covered this for the second or third time, we were talking about it. And by this point, they had already raided his place in Florida. And a lot of people in the comments kept saying, they found infant remains, they found infant remains. And I wasn't covering that. And the reason I wasn't covering that is because that was not true. And I did throw in a few people that were on TikTok, but I had went through and I went through and made sure that the stuff they were saying on their TikToks that I threw in were it was also being said by the news media. And one thing that went around on TikTok, they had circled the box the lady had come out with. That was the computer. And some people, they were saying that they had found infant remains on this property's land that he was renting or whatever. And, everybody in my comments was like, they found an infant. They found an infant. I didn't report on that because I had not been able to confirm that out of anything. I had not been able to confirm that. So they are now saying that, one, that was false. There were no infant remains found at the property where D4 was staying. And then now that her autopsy has come out, they are saying that she was never pregnant, at least not in the last year. And, she had not given birth. Let me see where we were. About right here, maybe. And also, no spoilers, guys. No spoilers on any of the cases.
Worlds will collide.
The hell? Damn commercial. Hold on. They have the longest commercials too. Like, dang, they don't even give you a chance to hit skip. That's not fair.
While the LA County Medical Examiner and the LAPD try to establish how she died. LAPD Captain Scott Williams told TMZ that investigators are trying to determine if she was a victim of foul play or other causes. E! News has reached out to the LAPD but has not yet heard back. Authorities had previously told the Los Angeles Times that they were working to establish a connection between Rivas Hernandez and David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, and that the case was being investigated by robbery homicide detectives with the LAPD. The singer has yet to comment publicly on the case. However, a spokesperson for David had previously told NBC News that he was, quote, fully cooperating with the authorities. Rivas Hernandez was found on September 8th at an impound yard after police were called to check the Tesla due to a, quote, foul odor coming from a vehicle. The body was later identified as the teen, who had been reported missing on April 5th, 2024 from Lake Elsinore, California. The Tesla had been parked near a home in the Hollywood Hills, which law enforcement sources told ABC News that David had been renting prior to the start of his world tour at the start of the summer. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the property, according to the LA Times, with law enforcement sources with knowledge of the case telling the outlet that they had recovered various items from the home, including electronics and computers.
That's crazy. So they're still trying to figure out. They've also said the dismemberment, things like that. But I do feel like, and thank you, FBI. I do feel like they're now saying that the vehicle was parked for 3 or 4 weeks in the community which wasn't far from where it was found. I think it was what, like a half a mile or something. But they had said that the car had been parked like 3 to 4 weeks even before they moved it to park it where it was where it was found. Thank you, Kai. Yeah, no malarkey and true crime, guys. I will. I'm aware of everything that's going on. I'm aware of everything, and I will, of course, we will talk about it. Um, all right, so this is another update that has come from a story that we've talked about. And I appreciate you guys hanging in with true crime, especially if drama's going on and things like that. That just shows me who's over here, who's real about support, you know? And so I love you guys for that.
It's found the baby first.
All right,
and they
so
called 911, but by then the 21-year-old.
All right.
We now know that the roommates found the baby first.
Wow.
And they called 911, but by then the 21-year-old mom, Laken Snelling, was.
Remember, so this is the story about the UK dance team, pep squad, whatever, cheerleader that had a baby. She was a student at University of Kentucky, and she had a baby, and the baby was in the closet. She even admitted that she had cleaned up all the evidence and put everything in the garbage bag, and then 911 was called. And there was obviously we've done updates. There was pictures where you can clearly see she had a baby bump. Her and her boyfriend did what looks to be maternity photo shoot, all the things. And if you guys remember when we were covering this story, I kept saying, why would she have put it in a garbage bag and done all this stuff if she was going to call 911? Well, now we're learning. She wasn't who called 911. Her roommates called 911. So it makes a little bit more sense. But listen to what she tells police.
No longer home. We also know for the first time where
yeah,
she
me too,
was.
FBI.
And I'm going to let you in on that one in a moment. Might make you blink. But when authorities arrived at the scene, we know that the baby was dead. What we don't know yet is whether that little boy was alive after being born, and that matters. In fact, there is something that Laken Snelling herself would say later on that suggests maybe that baby was alive when he was born. As we've reported before, the now former university student athlete is charged with a couple of things: abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. But notice on that list what's not there? No murder, no homicide of any type. Late last week, she made the trip back to Lexington from her parents' home in Tennessee, where she's under house arrest, and she made the trip for this, which was a very, very short court hearing. What you're looking at right there is not just this big old edit that we made, into a minute. The court hearing was less than a minute. She basically showed up to waive her right to a preliminary hearing.
Exactly,
And
Rhonda.
why does that matter? Under Kentucky law, that basically sends this case to a grand jury. So it's a bunch of, her peers who are going to have to decide whether to indict Laken Snelling or not. And my
Wow.
money's on the indictment, especially in light of the police reports that came out the same day. Okay, this is where you're going to have to sit down, because these affidavits are filled with information.
It is,
a lot
Evelyn.
of it's kind of uncomfortable. The affidavits that were filed to get search warrants show
Listen
that
to this.
Laken's roommates claim to have been in the dark about her condition.
Yeah, FBI.
All along. Laken had been Googling, quote, different things pertaining to pregnancy, and had used, quote, different hashtags for different weeks pregnant on social media. Social media, which makes me wonder, how in the dark were these roommates? Don't they follow their roommate on social media? Police also found pictures of Lakin, quote, doing things that ordinary pregnant women would not be doing. And there's no explanation in the affidavit, but we kind of wondered if it was this. These were the pictures that we aired a while back, showing Lakin Snelling in the cheerleading stunt team. She's a member that's slipping and tumbling at a meet that would have put her, by the date of this meet, at about 5 months pregnant. And get
I
this,
mean, look at
police
that.
also found pictures that Lakin took of herself while in labor.
Oh, wow.
Those were not posted to social media. In fact, those were not easy for the police to find. And I bet you know why I'm about to tell you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were not easy for the police to find because they were deleted. Police say Lakin told them that she gave birth at 4 o'clock in the morning on August 27th. She said the baby fell to the floor of her bedroom. And the roommates actually told police they heard that,
Well, yeah.
but didn't know what it was. Lakin told police she didn't think the baby was alive, but she didn't stick to that claim. And I'm going to come back to that in just a second.
To stay ahead of the career curve, you need a degree.
Hold on, guys. Of course, damn it. Not a damn commercial. I mean, does that not look obvious as hell to y'all? I mean, how her, and see, even her roommates are kind of going back on shit because they're saying, oh, well, we didn't know. But it's pretty freaking obvious. I mean, if you look at her. Okay, let me see where we were at. Okay, let me play. It's playing an ad right now. But I mean, you can't tell me you can't look at her. Like, I think it was FBI. I can't see y'all's comments right now. But I think it was FBI said, it was all baby. You could tell she's pregnant. Like, come on. They knew.
After that, police say she cleaned up a little bit more, stashing the placenta, and wrapped the baby in a towel, put the towel in the trash bag, and put the trash bag in her closet in the moment, and to find the boy, quote, turning blue, baby was alive.
Sorry.
Lakin told them that she gave birth at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Here we go. Sorry, I had to rewind a little bit.
She said the baby fell to the floor of her
Right,
bedroom.
Kimberly.
And the roommates actually told police they heard that, but didn't know what it was. Lakin told police she didn't think the
And they didn't hear her given birth. What is she, 21 years old? And she stayed completely silent while she was giving birth in her bathroom or bedroom. There's no damn way those roommates didn't know she was giving birth, in my opinion.
baby was alive, but she didn't
Me
stick to
too.
that claim. And I'm going to come back to that in just a second.
That part, Kai.
She said a half hour later, she, quote, passed out on top of the child.
Wow.
And woke up to find the boy, quote, turning blue and purple, end quote. She said she wrapped the baby up, quote, like a burrito, and lay next to him on the floor, quote, because it gave her a little comfort in the moment, end quote. And here's what else the affidavit tells us. Lakin slept until her alarm went off at 7:30 in the morning. The police say she then wrapped the baby in a towel, put the towel in the trash bag, and put the trash bag in her closet, and then took a shower. After that, police say she cleaned up a little bit more, stashing the placenta in a Ziploc bag, which police say she stashed in the closet with the baby. And then they say she drove to the University of Kentucky campus, but did not go to class. Instead, she ordered food from McDonald's, and after eating, drove to the student clinic. But then, curious.
To stay ahead of the career curve, you need a degree with a destination.
Did not enter the building. According to police, she instead went back home, by which time her secret was out. So police took her in, but then they took her to the University of Kentucky Hospital, where
scared the shit out of me.
I want to read this actually verbatim because it's important. Ms. Snelling told medical staff that the baby made a whimper and that she, quote, guessed the baby was alive. This is where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to bring in Mark Garagos, defense attorney, podcaster, and longtime friend of the show, and somebody who knows a lot about this because he's had cases just like it.
I'm not going to watch all of this.
Garagos, I think that last line is super important to me.
I just want to hear a little bit of what he says.
Lakin Snelling told medical staff the baby made a whimper. That's kind of solid proof that the baby was not stillborn, that the baby was born alive?
It's definitely something that the pathologist is going, and the coroner is going to want to factor into his discussion. When we talked about this case last time, we talked about, or you had a guest on that was also a pathologist, and one of the things they talked about, or I at least characterize it as, the kind of medieval tests that they use in order to determine this. It really is, for all of the advances we've made in science when it comes to figuring out if it was stillborn or not, it's still very, very primitive. But the admission from the mother that there was a whimper or a sound which suggests taking a breath, that is key to a coroner making the determination if there was a live birth, because the
Wait, what? So he's saying that the way that they figure out if a baby took its first breath is basically like what they did 100 years ago? I was thinking that it would be easy to tell if a baby had taken a breath because I've always been told that when they're in the womb, obviously their lungs have not expanded yet. So if they come out and actually take a breath, their lungs, like it would show that they took, that their lungs were filled up. But that's interesting because I did not realize that.
breath, the lung capacity, that is what they have concentrated on since time immemorial.
Really?
Yeah, you can't make a whimper if you don't have oxygen in your lungs, and you don't come out of the birth canal with any oxygen in your system. That's the first breath, as everybody.
Right. Okay, so her and her boyfriend did what many would say was a maternity photo shoot. Now, couples do photo shoots and stuff like that, but there was even one picture I showed where they're sitting down in like a field and he's like behind her with his arms wrapped around her. They don't do the little heart thing on her stomach, but they definitely have both hands on her stomach and it looks like a baby bump. So her boyfriend was clearly around because they, like I said, they did the photo shoot shortly before she had the baby.
Everybody knows. Then she also said after 30 minutes, she said the baby was turning blue and purple. I think it might have been 30 minutes after she kind of woke up, having, in her description, fallen asleep on the baby. And to say the baby's turning blue and purple is another very definitive forensic clue that the baby was actually functioning and alive.
When I first started college, I had a husband
These damn
getting ready to
commercials are
deploy
pissing
and a
me
small
off.
child. I decided it was
These commercials are pissing me off. How many damn commercials do you have for one little video? Like, dang. I apologize, guys. I thought there would just be like a commercial in the beginning, not all through it, or I would have screen recorded this and edited it. So my apologies. But yeah, I can't believe that the roommates didn't know, the cheer squad, like somebody said, why didn't the coach say something? Why didn't the coach say why didn't anybody say anything?
You know, this is why I'm such a friend of the show. You're so sharp
911,
to have
right?
picked up on that, because if I'm the defense lawyer and I'm taking a look at that, I'm saying to myself, this is precisely why you never want your client to cooperate, because just from a purely legal standpoint, absent her statements that there was a whimper, that the fetus or the baby was turning blue, how you refer to it, things of that nature, they don't have a corpus. They don't have a crime. It's only after the fact.
Wow. So apparently it's not as easy as we thought to tell if they're alive or not because like he said, this is why you don't talk to the police. You do not give them your side of things because if they did not have her statements of that she waited 30 minutes, then rolled over on the baby and the baby was blue, and her statement about the baby whimpering, there would be no crime. Think of that shit. All that's going to do is teach people to keep their mouth shut.
Trying to reconstruct a crime. And boy, I will tell you, a whimper
No.
and
Living the dream.
turning blue, as you just stated, are two of the biggest things that their
Oh, yay.
prosecution is
Thank
going
you.
to hang their proverbial
Thank you,
hat on.
2K.
Hey, I'm looking at these pictures, and I know I'm going to get assailed for bringing this topic up, but I think that Everything matters. Appearances matter. This is Laken Snelling appearing for her second time in a courtroom in front of a judge. She's tucked in behind her lawyer for a bit of it, but you can see she's wearing a black dress, and she did not glam up. In her first court appearance, she wore a red dress with a lot of makeup. Second court appearance, see, there's the first one, Garagos.
Her
and
lawyer.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I saw the red cocktail dress and lots of makeup. It matters, doesn't it? As a defense attorney, it matters.
That was a dumb move on her part. She needs to be in there with glasses. She needs to be in there looking like the librarian, like the girl next door. Because when she comes in there hot to trot, like she's fast, they're going to be like, look at that little, 304. Well, they won't say 304, but, look at that little girl thinking she's fast. Didn't want to have this baby, and she spread her legs, opened her legs for this baby, and now look at her with this hot cocktail dress on. Hell yeah, that shit matters. Definitely matters. She changed that shit up real quick, though.
How your client appears in a high-profile trial.
Look at her now.
So many things that matter, and let me explain.
Look how different. Like, she's pretty much barefaced. The red's gone.
Why, as you know, and I'm telling you what you already know, the look in a courtroom or how is projected outside of the courtroom matters immensely to the ultimate arbiter of this case, which is the jury pool. Why do you think in the Diddy case they're fighting so hard to have him not have to wear jail garb at his sentencing when there isn't even a jury? Because they know that that's going to go out. That's what the public is going to see. Why do you think I have many times said I regret in the Peterson case that I did not allow cameras in the courtroom? Because what they did do is they took some B-roll of maybe a minute and a half, and that became Scott looking with a lack of affect, and that became kind of the soundtrack or video track, if you will, of that trial for the rest of time in memorial. Right here, look what happens. You've got her looking as if she's going, you call it a cocktail attire, I call it a prom dress.
Right. That shit matters. That's why I don't know who wasn't advising her prior to her first appearance where she wore the red cocktail dress with the red. I think she even had a red lip, heavy makeup. I don't know if they weren't advising her, but you can tell by the second time she shows up to court, she's barefaced. She's got gray or black, I believe, on. That stuff matters. They're going to judge you on those things. Like somebody says on Kick, she should have been prepared. She should have planned for adoption. They must have coached her on what to wear. Oh, for sure they coached her. Not the first day, apparently. But she should have planned. Here's the thing. Even if you thought you were going to have the baby and you were going to keep the baby, if it came down to you gave birth at the house, clearly she didn't want to keep the baby, in my opinion, because she gave birth quietly in her home, with roommates supposedly in the next room. But if you decided at the last minute, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm not even going to go to the hospital. I don't want nobody to know all these things. And you had the baby in your bedroom. You take the baby to the fire department. If you did not plan adoption, you did not plan for anything, which is crazy to me because you had 10 months to plan. If you didn't do any of those things, at the last resort, you go to the fire department, and I promise you, those fire department, the people that work at the fire department will make sure that the baby is taken care of until they have. Most fire departments will have Similac or some kind of baby formula, Enfamil or whatever. They will be prepared in case the baby is dropped off. And they will take care of that child. Most of them are probably dads or mothers themselves. There are too many options for people to be putting babies in dumpsters and in closets and all of these things. There are too many options, period. You don't have to keep the child. No one has to know. There are so many things that you can do. Shit, if anybody's hearing this right now and you're pregnant and don't want a child, hit me up and I will help you. I will help you with all the resources, all the things. We need to stop doing this to innocent babies. There are so many people out here that would love to be able to have children. So many people who have went through infant loss that would love to give a child a home. There are too many out here that would love a newborn. I guarantee you, if a newborn was at the fire station and people who had already signed up to adopt found out it was a brand new baby, there would be a line for whoever wanted it. Um, I'm just getting so tired of seeing all of these stories about these babies. Thankfully, we've seen in the last month, we've seen two babies that actually, one baby was double bagged and in a dumpster for 5 hours, and the baby lived. That is a child with a will to live. That child will probably do great things, I pray. But we've seen two babies by the grace of God in the last month that actually were put in the dumpster and lived for hours. But their parents just threw them away like they were nothing. It just eats me up. I just can't. There's too many options for people to do it.
Into her appearance. That is not the look that you want to have.
And thank you so much for 2K for sending your crew over to my kick. Thank you so much. Thank you for the gift. Thank you guys for coming over. I truly appreciate y'all. Thank you.
That is not the look that is going to send the message that you want to send. And I'm not
Right.
second guessing the lawyers or anybody else because I've been hoisted on this myself. But it matters. The things that you don't think matter, matter. I can't tell you the little details that you have to be concerned with.
I'm not judging her either. I don't think this kid knew a damn thing about court and about how to dress. I'm sure she just grabbed what she thought was the most adult thing, maybe in her wardrobe. But these things just do land so unbelievably hard on people, and people are very, very judgmental. I do want to ask you about the deleted pictures.
Okay, this
police
is the
always
part.
find the deleted file, and the pictures of her giving birth are deleted.
So she took pictures of herself giving birth. I will never understand how people do things and think, even on Snapchat, they think just because Snapchat deletes it, the cops can't find it. Like when people do, when like couples, take people out of the world together, they delete people out of the world. It never fails to amaze me when they're like texting each other during the crime, or talking about it on their phones. It's like, are y'all dumb? Like they're gonna find that shit. Oh, and she took pictures of like, oh, I'm just gonna act like this never happened. Nobody's ever gonna find this baby, but let me take some pictures.
As are some of the internet searches.
Shit's crazy.
In the legalese, they usually say that's consciousness of guilt, I think. But do you see it as a problem that she deleted a lot of these things?
Well, what people don't quite understand,
They got an
both
echo.
for where you search and what's been deleted. When you cross-examine, at least in my experience, when I cross-examine the computer forensics people, what you quickly find out is that something that is deleted is not necessarily deleted. And then what the law enforcement does is they will recreate, they will go to the unallocated space, they'll go to the cloud, they'll go to various other places and recreate what was deleted. That, to your point, can be damning if it's something that shows consciousness of guilt. The other thing on internet searches, I'm always a little leery of that because anytime you go onto an internet or land on a website, you get bombarded with pop-ups. You get bombarded, and if you were to go in slow motion, which I often do during cross-examination, as to the search browser, searching for that website, many times one of the things that they consider to be a search is not a search. It's not the end point. It's just one of the signposts on the way. So you have to be very careful. You have to have yeah, and so one of the things that you're labeling or saying she was searching for may not be.
This case, I'm telling you, it just gets worse and worse. But at least we did get one of our questions answered as far as Why did she call like, we couldn't figure out why she had done all these things and then called 911. Because in my mind, I was thinking, if you're gonna call 911, why would you have wrapped the baby up and put all the evidence like, why would you do that? Well, no shit, now we know. It wasn't even her that called 911, it was the roommates. And I personally feel like the roommates heard the shit going on. They had to have seen her belly bump. We've seen her belly bump. She was all baby. 1,000% you could tell that girl was pregnant, that it was not her getting fat. She was not fat. She wasn't gaining weight anywhere but her belly. They were doing um the cheerleading stunts and stuff, so they were close to her body. Like you could tell that, so there's no way they couldn't tell that was hard. Like her stomach wasn't hard. And I think, me personally, I think the roommates knew she was pregnant, heard her giving birth, and then waited for her to leave and went through her shit and found the baby in the closet and called 911. Because we know they are who called 911. Why else would they be in her closet? Because when you have roommates, especially in college, like a dorm situation type thing like they had, I'm pretty sure they were still in like a upperclassmen, but it was still like suites or something for, it was a college kid kind of situation. So the only reason you're going in your college roommates' belongings, especially their closet, in my opinion, is if you're looking for some shit or just being nosy, which is still looking for some shit. you know, so I think they knew. I think they heard the shit. I just don't. The ring of fire. If anybody's ever had a child naturally, and I know some people do it quietly, but that ring of fire, I don't see how anybody can do that. The ring of fire, I'm telling, because I had an epidural with my first child. You guys know I was very young, and they put the epidural in, and then it pumps the liquid, but it's got like an IV, the plastic, IV tubing. Well, my IV tubing actually had come apart. So I wasn't getting the medicine. It was just going out in the floor. And by the time they realized that it was going out on the floor, because kept telling them, like, I can feel my legs, like, I can feel everything. Oh, no, you can't. Shit. By the time they realized I was telling the truth, it was too damn late. And that ring of fire is no joke. No joke. It'll get you. They decided to wait until she left to check it out. Right. That's exactly what I think. I think they knew. And obviously, I guarantee you she didn't look pregnant anymore. Like she probably came out that, I mean, you guys know, even if you gain weight, you still like you look heavier, but like the baby bump, hard bump is gone when you have the baby. So I'm sure they saw her go in with a hard bump, heard some shit. They even said they heard her drop the baby allegedly and didn't know what it was. So she goes in, she's got a hard bump on her belly. She comes out the next day to go to class and the hard bump is gone. Come on now. They said, "Let me go see what's up." And they found the baby. It's just sad that they waited and they didn't try to intervene. Shout out to Moody for that super chat. So she had time to take pictures of giving birth, but not time to see if the baby was breathing. Shake my head. Exactly. She says she passed out and woke up, the baby was on her. Okay. Let me share some of these stories. Okay. Let me read this story to you guys because I pulled a few stories just so we could talk about this. Trigger warning. This is evil one. It's not a video, but I'm gonna read it to you. Okay. This was just posted for 41 minutes ago, which was earlier today when I grabbed it. But mom watched 4-year-old son go under the water and pop back up after ordering him and her husband to DIE in the lake to prove their worthiness. Mental health is such a struggle in our, it's mental health or it's just pure evil. So she told her husband and 4-year-old. Now you think about what a 4-year-old can process, what a 4-year-old understands, right? And she told her 4-year-old, oh, me too, Pete. They left mine in forever. It's a whole thing with my epidural. Oh, it's bad. because where it came apart, nothing was going through it, so it was a whole issue. But anyway, she told her 4-year-old and husband that they had to basically go under the water and stay under it to prove their worthiness. I, look at her. Look at her. And she's an Amish mother, Ruth Miller, faces a bond hearing in Atwood Lake murder of 4-year-old son. Okay? An Ohio mother accused of commanding her husband and 4-year-old son to jump in a lake as part of an alleged spiritual delusion, resulting in both of their drowning deaths, was denied bond at a hearing on Monday after police officials provided more details about how it all allegedly went down. She says that God spoke to her and told her to throw Vincent into the lake, and she did. And that was about her 4-year-old son, Vincent. Miller is also accused of offing her husband, Marcus, by ordering him in the water as well. Her bond hearing was streamed by NBC affiliate. She described watching Vincent go under the water and pop back up. At that moment, God spoke to her, questioning why she was still looking for Vincent after she had given him to God. What? Ruth Miller, a 40-year-old Millersburg resident who is reportedly a member of an Amish church, is accused of killing her husband and son because God was speaking to them and wanted the pair to prove their worthiness. She was previously being held at a secure hospital for a mental health evaluation before being booked into the Toscawaras County Jail earlier this month and charged with 2 counts of aggravated red rum, 2 counts of DV, and 1 count of endangering children. Miller was at the mental health facility from August 23rd to September 1st. Oh, yeah, because that's going to be long enough. You haven't heard about this case? Yeah, I just saw it was just posted earlier today. Hey, Ashley, thanks for coming over. Right, God didn't tell you to harm a child. You didn't see it on the news? God would never. Right. Right. What's wrong with the husband? And who would do that to a kid, right? She was mad at the father and the child, very sick. Yeah, she was probably mad at the father and took it out on the child. Or she's just that mentally ill. Um, it says Miller was supposedly hearing voices that she believed were God. That led her and her husband to go out and jump in the lake first. Police officials have also accused Miller, who was allegedly confessed, of crashing a golf cart into the water with her 3 other children inside. Oh my God, I didn't know she had 3 other kids. So she tried to take them all out, y'all. Damn, I didn't even know. Oh my goodness, because I just read like the upper part. I haven't read this part yet. So she crashed the golf cart with the other in the water with the other children inside. Oh my goodness. It is insane. She better repent because that's one of the 6 commandments. One of the you mean 10 commandments? Why didn't they take them kids away the first? The stuff is wild, right? I guess this is all at the same time that she did all this. At Monday's hearing, Fisher and others described how witnesses saw the golf cart crash and Miller praying on the dock. It was very intentional, Fisher alleged. They witnessed her drive through the lighthouse and the marina and down through the grass and over the wall into the water. The detective laid out the alleged events leading up to the double murder, including how their family was having quote unquote fun together earlier in the day. The family had gone on the pontoon boat. She said they had a great time. They were cruising around the upper end of the lake, and the kids were fishing. She said it got dark, but that she and Marcus didn't want to end the fishing trip early or the fun that the kids were having. The couple didn't get back to their camper until 10 p.m. that evening before going to bed. At about midnight, Miller said that she and Marcus were awoken by God. They began to pray and read the Bible, and the two made the decision that they were going to go back to the boat. Ruth said that she and Marcus were both nervous about getting in the water initially, but they allegedly got in anyway. They were to float on their backs at one point, and Marcus began to sink during this. so they swam back to the dock. Marcus Miller, according to Ruth, was supposed to be able to pull her from the water onto the dock, but after 3 failed attempts, she had to swim to the back of the boat and climb out using the ladder. She said that Marcus started to sink because of his lack of faith. Oh my, that's not how it works, lady. That is, if he can't swim, he's going to sink. Ugh. She said he started to sink. Hold on. He started to sink because his lack of faith, and that he was not able to pull her out of the water because he would not ask God for any strength to do that. Oh, wow. I haven't seen anything where drugs were involved. Mental health has definitely declined since the start of COVID. Oh, I've said this. I have said this. We still do not know the effects of what COVID will do to us as a society, as communities, any of that. If you didn't know, see, I went to New York City. I'm a nurse. So I went to New York. I'm talking to somebody on Kick, guys. I went to New York City during COVID and worked on the front lines in New York City ERs during COVID. So I talk about it all the time, especially in my real life, about the fact that we're not going to know what COVID had, like what that really was for probably generations and generations, because you know having the world shut down kind of like it was and being in quarantine like we were, it's unprecedented. So I don't think we're going to know what went on for, what real effects for many years down the line. All right. So it says once they were both out of the water, Miller began asking her husband just to suffocate her. Miller said that Marcus would not suffocate her and made some suggestion that he had spoke of suffocating her in the past, presumably from some kind of feuds that they may have had in their relationship. Ruth allegedly told police that they went back to their camper for a while before eventually returning to the lake around 5:30 a.m. to keep testing themselves. What the hell? Go to bed. According to Miller, she commanded Marcus Miller to get back into the lake, where he ultimately drowned as part of another quote unquote test from God. Miller said she believed he had failed the initial test because he didn't have enough faith. She then allegedly demanded that Vincent, which was 4 years old, guys, Vincent is 4, go in afterward as punishment. Just give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes, because I bet you she'd be in that water. And I bet you I'd make her walk her ass herself into it, just like she did that poor baby. Oh, I can't. Can y'all imagine how scared that poor baby must have been? I just put myself in that baby's shoes and think at 4 years old, what was he processed? Like, what was even going on in his mind? Did he even know what was about to? I mean, obviously, he just watched his father do the same thing to his demise. And you're talking about 5:30 in the morning, getting woken up out of your sleep at 4 years old. Oh, I can't. Where was I at? um, Vincent go in afterwards as punishment. She believed that she and her husband had to pass these tests to show their faith, and when they didn't, then Vincent became the price to pay for that. Campbell told reporters after Miller's arrest, what she says is that she and her husband went to the dock and they jumped in the water because God was speaking to them and telling them to do things to prove their worthiness to God, to show their faith is complete, and they didn't do very well in those. Police say some of the tasks Marcus Miller was given were bizarre, with many of them being swimming exercises. Ruth Miller allegedly told investigators that God asked her at one point to be swallowed by a fish. Swallowed by a fish. She should get life, no parole, no probation. Oh, she should get double life for this. That's 2 people, double life. Swallowed by a fish, Marcus Miller's final alleged test, according to Ruth Miller, was swimming to a nearby sandbar. Marcus Miller was last seen at the Atwood Lake dock at around 6:30 a.m., according to witnesses. His wife was allegedly spotted at around 8 a.m. driving, quote unquote, very dangerously with Vincent in the area of the dock before he drowned. She states that she went to the dock and that she threw the 4-year-old in because that's what she needed to do as an offering to God. So this lady took her innocent 4-year-old baby boy, walked to the dock, to the end of the dock, and just threw him in, and he did not know how to swim. And then he had to drown. Probably one of the most horrific deaths you could have. What a sadistic bee. And what makes it worse is that she hides behind the shit and says God told her to do that. Girl, if anybody told you to do that, it was the devil himself. That's some sick shit right there. Ugh. Mm. Oh my God, what? Okay, because that's what she needed to do as an offering to God. Ruth Miller was then allegedly, listen to this. She was then allegedly seen picking up her 15-year-old daughter and twin 18-year-old sons, whom she also allegedly made perform religious tasks. The children told cops that Miller allegedly made them, quote unquote, all lay down on the dock with their hands in the water to pray for their little brother and father because they were gone and had gone to heaven. Why didn't they save their So she went and picked him up and brought him there, is what I'm taking, that they weren't there when it happened? Because she said they went and picked him. I was getting ready to say, if they were there, why didn't they save him? I'd have knocked her ass in the water. But she went and picked him up, I guess on that golf cart that she later wrecked. Pray for their little brother and father because they were gone and had gone to heaven. She allegedly crashed the golf cart with them inside shortly after. I'm surprised 15, so a 15-year-old girl and two 18-year-old boys. Oh, mother or not, I would have held her ass down till the cops got there. Miller heard the voice again telling her to drive into the lake, Campbell told reporters. After the crash, a witness offered help, but Miller allegedly refused. She suggested not to help her, just to pray. Police have described the Millers as members of the Old Order Amish Church and living in Holmes County. They were reportedly visiting Atwood Lake as part of the weekend trip. I do not think it was a plan, the sheriff concluded. I believe that based off detailed conversations with the family that they were just going to the lake. A judge denied Miller's bond on Monday after deeming her a substantial risk of serious physical harm to any other person or community. She's pled not guilty by reason of insanity. She says she saw him go underwater and pop back up. Oh. If that don't show you how sick and twisted people could be. Reminds me of Ruby Frank thing, how the husband listened to his wife. Yes, Jordan, I watched a documentary about that, which I watched it unfold anyway. And I don't see why nobody that was watching Ruby Frank, why they didn't call CPS. And you guys know I do not think people should be calling CPS in their feelings online. But Ruby Frank and the shit she did with her kids, the videos that I've seen after the fact, where the hell was everybody at that should have been calling CPS? One of her sons didn't have a door and like didn't have a bed for, I think it was like 6 months or something. And she was showing that shit online. But this lady right here, this is just very disturbing. This was a story from today, brainwashed Amish children. That's true. They may have not fought back because of their beliefs. And see, that's why, you guys know I definitely go to church and all the things. I believe in God and stuff like that. But I also believe in science. Obviously, I'm very much a science person, which you know, Christianity and science sometimes can clash just a little bit. But I'm also somebody that's spiritual and, different things. So Mm, I don't know. That case is rough. But I just hate when people use religion for their sick BS, or they use religion to cover up their BS ways, or they only use it when when it's something to benefit them. I can't stand it. It drives me up the wall. It's so sad and sick, right? 15 and 18, yeah. One 15-year-old girl, two 18-year-old boys, and she crashed the golf cart with them in it. But they're okay. They're alive. But the little 4-year-old and the husband passed away. What's crazy is the husband, clearly he wasn't the best swimmer because she got pissed off because he wasn't able to perform one of the exercises and pull her up out of the water or something like that. So he obviously wasn't the best swimmer. So the last thing that he was supposed to do, he was supposed to swim from where they were at the shore all the way to a sandbar, and then he just disappeared because clearly he wasn't the best swimmer. So he just drowned. So then she felt like because the husband failed, she had to go get the 4-year-old and throw him off the dock and just let him flail. And what's surprising is most people think when someone drowns that it's very loud and it's splashing and all that. Most drownings are silent. Isn't that it's incredible. I know it's a tragedy, obviously, but I think it's incredible that I would think it'd be loud and splashing and screaming and all the things, but they say it's actually like almost silent. That it's not like a big splashing. And then that's why a lot of times, like, it can happen and two parents can be talking here and it happened right behind them and they don't even realize it until it's too late. Thank you guys so much for joining me for True Crime. Cat's Crazy Side became a member. Thank you so much. Okay, what was the other one? Oh, let me show you this one real quick because there was one more story that I wanted to show you guys. Because I just thought this was a very sad case as well. Because what the hell was this family doing? Okay, look at this. 9-year-old pew pewed after family takes 15-year-old to fight another teen. So their teenager, I don't know if it was the parents, it says family. So the family decides that the 15-year-old is going to fight another teenager, right? So they decide, I think it was 1:30 in the morning, that they're going to load the car up and they're going to take their 15-year-old family member to go fight another teen. We've seen this happen in so many cases. It never works out good. Never works out good. So they decide that they're going to load the car up and they're going to take this 15-year-old to go fight another teen. So what do? They bring along the 9-year-old. Why? Like, if you're going to do these, in my opinion, dumb things, impulsive things, why did the 9-year-old have to come? I understand not leaving a 9-year-old at home by themselves or whatever, but I feel like in this case, somebody should have stayed home with the 9-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys could have went, but it's 1:30 in the morning. The 9-year-old has school probably the next damn day, and it's 1:30 a.m. The 9-year-old should be asleep. But anyway, I digress. So, the lead investigator in a red rum of a 9-year-old child Sunday morning in Chesterfield County said she's deeply hurt and devastated over the senseless pew-pewing. Chesterfield County investigator Brittany Robinson said she's heartbroken over the child's red rum. To me, it was just sad because my first question was why we have a 9-year-old out at 1:30 in the morning. It didn't really make sense to me being a parent. Robinson said the 9-year-old was sitting inside a car in the parking lot of a store on Highway 9 in the Pageland community. She explained that the child's parents, oh, it was her parents, the child's parents had brought a 15-year-old family friend to the location to fight a fellow teen. Robinson added that the fight had ended and everyone was going back to their cars when someone pew-pewed. A pew-pew struck and deleted the 9-year-old child, who was still sitting in the car. Robinson said charged 7 juveniles from the ages of 13 to 17 and 4 adults, including the parents of the victim. That is just, it's so senseless. And now there's 7 juveniles charged and 4 adults, including her own parents. So your negligence, your immaturity to think it's okay to say, okay, it's 1:30 in the morning. We're going to go up here and I'm going to take my 15-year-old family member to go fight. And I get it because I fought and I understand. But us as the adults and us as the parents have to take a step back and say, this is 2025. Who knows what kind of weapon that they're going to bring to this? People don't square up anymore, especially if they lose. They're going to pull something. It just don't happen. Oh, thank you. Her parents thought this was smart. All right. Good night. Yeah, her parents thought that poor child lost moments truly tragic. May God rest in yes. I it's just awful. It's just such a senseless thing. Such a senseless thing. That 9-year-old little girl didn't have nothing to do with it, to the point where she didn't even get out of the car. And I know people, I saw some threads that were saying, like, the 9-year-old wanted to go. She was probably hyped up wanting to go with them to fight and all this stuff. And I was trying to point out, the fact that if she was hyped up and she was ready to go, besides that, she was 9. The people fighting were 15. And some 9-year-olds, yeah, they may hang out with 15-year-olds, whatever the case. But if she was so hype and she wanted to fight, why did she stay in the car? If, in my opinion, if she was ready to fight and she wanted to get in the mix of it, obviously there was multiple juveniles there because 7 juveniles were charged. So if she wanted to get out there, and there was juveniles that were 13, so not only a few years, 4 years older than her. So I feel like if she was hype and she was wanting to get in the mix and, throw a few punches, she'd have got out of the car. But she didn't. She sat in the car because she was just a baby that got drugged there by her parents so they could have entertainment, I guess. Like, it was just so uncalled for. Me either, Jordan. Me either. Exactly, Jax. Yeah, and now, well, maybe they won't feel remorse, but most parents, now they have to live with what they did, and they're probably going to go to jail for the rest of their lives. I wouldn't doubt, even though they didn't pull the trigger. Maybe not the rest of their lives, but they're definitely getting charged for what they did. So protective over my kids, I just don't get it. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, that's okay, Sherry. I completely forgot, but it's true crime, so it's all right. But thank you so much for letting me know. Thank you guys so much for joining me over on Kick. Shout out to 2K for sending everybody over to Kick. I appreciate you so much. Shout out to 2K. Also, 2K's back on YouTube. Let me see if I get it right because I always want to say talks with 2K. 2K's take. I hope I said that right. But yeah, he's back on YouTube. So definitely check it out. And we will do another episode of True Crime on Thursday. I hope to see you guys there. It'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. I think I am going to come back and do just a little bit of malarkey because I want to show something. So I will see you guys for malarkey in just a little bit. I'll see y'all then. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode, and I truly hope you enjoyed it. Prayers and condolences to everyone involved in these stories and these tragic events. Thank you all so much. Shout out to Kick, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're watching this on the replay and you got this far, you're the MVP. But drop hashtag replay in the comments so I know that I miss you.